Previous lecture, we studied PL with feedback terms, which has a programmable AND array. Can you see the programmable AND array? And it has a fixed OR array. We also studied some feedback terms, with how the output of the macro cell is feedback to the input. And if we want to implement wider function, we can use the feedback term. We can use the feedback term. But now, previously we studied that this circuit PL can be only and only used to implement combinational circuit. If we want to implement a sequential circuit, so we need some flip-flop. So therefore, we will now study a very simple type of simple programmable logic device that is called as SPLD. So SPLD is an extension of programmable array logic with the additional functionality, with the additional capability to implement also a sequential function. So with an SPLD, we can either implement a combinational function or a sequential function, depending upon the requirement of the designer. Depending on the requirement of a designer. So actually, how we can do this? So in this case, flip-flops are added to the PAL. Flip-flop. Can you see? Can you see the screen on the machine? Okay. So flip-flops are added to the PAL structure, and it is called as SPLD. And actually, if you look at here, so now multiplexers are also added. What is the function of a multiplexer? So the multiplexer are added to each output. And the select line of the multiplexer will be used to determine that whether we want to implement a combinational function or a sequential function. So actually, it is shown here. Now, if you look, can you see on this in this? So it is actually SPLD is an extension of PAL. So if you look the above structure, so if you exclude this flip-flop and multiplexer, if you exclude the flip-flop and the multiplexer, so what is this then? PL. It is a PL. But now we have added one flip-flop and one mux. And the select line of the multiplexer will be used to determine that whether a combination function will be implemented or a sequential function. Let's assume if you want to implement a combination function. So let's assume this output is F1. Can you see the F1 output? Yes. So the output is F1. Okay. So now if you look at here, so actually now the second output is F1Q. So which signal? So now there are two inputs to the multiplexer. One is F1, another is F1Q. So F1 is combination or sequential? Combination. And F1Q is sequential. So actually this select line of the multiplexer, if you look at this select line of the multiplexer, so let's assume this select line of the multiplexer, it will be either a logical 0 here. Let's assume there is a logical 0 here and there is a logical 1 here. So if let's say if we store a logical 0 here, which function will be implemented? Combination function. And if you store a logical 1 here, a sequential function will be implemented. Okay. Now, if you look at this simple PL, so actually this can implement a SOP expression. This is a very simple SPLD. This is just like a logical description of an SPLD. Actually the SPLD data used in the chip, they can implement very much wider function. So if you look at this, if you want to implement, it is implementing a SOP expression or a POS expression. SOP expression, sum of product, sum. So this actually, if you look at here, this is sum or is sum of product with how many minterms? Two minterms. So actually, how many AND gates are there? There are two AND gates. So if you look at here, so there are here AND gate 1 and AND gate 2. So actually, this can implement a SOP expression with two minterms. If let's assume if there are 5 AND gates, then it can implement a combination function or sequential function with 5 minterms. If we want to implement a combinational function with more minterms, what we need to do? We can use the feedback. And we studied this in the previous lecture, that we can use the feedback to implement a wider function. And if you are using this feedback, it will introduce additional delay. Okay. So now, if we add more and more number of AND gates, what will be the advantage? Less feedback terms will be used. Okay. Less feedback will be used, but there will be more delay because now there are more AND gates. So the more AND gates, so the input to the OR gate will be more. Now in this case, this is an OR gate in this particular example. So if you look at this OR gate, so this OR gate is with 2 input OR gate. And if we let's assume the AND gates are 5, so it will be a 5 input OR gate. So which gate will have more delay? 2 input OR gate or 5 input OR gate? 5 input output OR gate will have more delay. But now let's assume if you want to implement a combination function with 5 min terms, there is no feedback required. So actually there are advantages and disadvantages. So if you increase the amount of resources, so actually implementing any function will be easy. But if you reduce the amount of resources, the programmability degree will be reduced. So how you can program, it all depends upon the internal architecture of it. Okay, now let's assume if we have a system or a design or a system that is given by the user in terms of Verilog or any high level or a block diagram. So actually, who will be doing all these mapping to the underlying architecture? Synthesizer. It is the job of the synthesizer that will translate your design into the actual architecture. This internal architecture can be PL, it can be PLA, it can be PROM, it can be in SPLD, it can be CPLD, and there are many more devices that we will study. There are Altera architecture, Xilinx architecture, and we will study these architecture in more and more details in our upcoming lecture. Okay, so now this the type of architecture we are studying, these are programmable architecture or non-programmable architecture? Programmable architecture. So there are two types of architecture. One is a class of programmable architecture that can be programmed in the field. So when it is a programmable architecture, all of the gates are synthesized before on the board, and just we need to program them according to our requirement. Okay, so now, so if you look at it, there are AND gates, OR gates, and flip-flops. Okay, and all of these, if you combine all of them, it comprises a macro cell. All of these are combined into a macro cell. So actually, if you look at here, so this can, if you look at this structure that is highlighted in blue, so this is a macro cell. The structure that is highlighted in blue is a macro cell. It consists a combination of AND gate, OR gate, flip-flop, and multiplexer. So this one structure is a macro cell. This structure is a macro cell. The combination. So this is macro cell. Let's assume this is a macro cell I. So this is macro cell 1. This is the second one is macro cell 2. The third one macro cell, and it can so far so on. All right. So it is a macro cell. It depends on the select line. There will be a storage cell. On the select line, there will be a storage. Either we will store a 0 there or a 1 there. Let's assume in this particular example, if you store 0 in that select lines, so which function will be implemented? Combination. Okay, it may also be possible that macro cell I implements a combination function and macro cell J implement a sequential function. Like it provides you the flexibility to either implement a combination function or a sequential function. It depends on the requirement of the user. Now let's assume, I will give this with an example. So let's assume we want to implement assign C is equal to A and B or A and C. So if you look at this function, If you look at this is a combination function or sequential function? Combination function. So now if it is a combination function, so a macro cell can be used. A macro cell can be used to implement this. Now if you look at here, so now this is min term. Min term, am I right? It's like this. This is a min term, and this is also a min term. So actually, two min terms are implemented. Two min terms are implemented. So this is also min term, and this is also a min term. And actually, if you look at this in between, there is an OR gate. So actually, what expression is this? If you look at the whole expression, SOP expression. SOP expression with two min terms. So now if you look at the architecture here, if you look at this architecture here, so A may come here, small a. So if you look at here, this is small a, small b, and c. Okay, small a, b, c is your output actually. C is your output. So actually, that now the first function that will be implemented will be a and b. The second function implemented will be a and c. So now it is implemented. Two min terms is implemented. The output will be here. So the output will become from f1. So it will be a combination function or sequential function? Combination function. So the combination function. So what will we store in the select line? 0 or 1? 0. We will store a 0. And all of these 10 will be hidden from the programmer. All of these 10 will be hidden from from the programmer, but from the system designer. From the system designer. Now let's assume we have let's assume now we have one set of code. Okay. So now what is the sorry? It's not A and C. It should not be A and C. I'm sorry. It can be because C is your output. A and B. A and B and C. Let's assume this is your output D. Okay. So now if you look at here A and B and C, and your output here is D is your output. Okay. Now let's assume we have another code. We have another code here. Always add I can open the OneNote is much better here. Okay. Okay. So now always it's not working, I think. Always add pause edge of clock nice. It's taking too much time. I know one note is not working for me now. Okay, always at pause edge of clock or pause edge of reset, begin and end if reset k is equal to 0, else k is equal to a and b and c bar, okay, or b and c, or so if you want to implement this function, so it is a combination function or sequential function? It's a sequential function. So actually now we have two type of codes. One is the combination that we have the previous, and now we have a sequence. The output is k, and it is actually sequential. It's a sequential output. So actually how we can implement this on any macro cell? So actually what's the first function? A and B and C bar. A and B, not A bar, A and B and C bar. And what is the second function? B and C. What is B? B is here and C is here. These two functions will be implemented. So the output will be here. Now in this case, should we need to use the combination output or sequential output? Sequential output. So now there will be a multiplexer. So what will be on the select line of the multiplexer? 1. Okay, so that multiplexer, so the output of the flip flop will go output, and it will be the output. It will be the output. Okay. So now in this way we have implemented a sequential function. We have implemented a sequential function using macro cell. So this macro cell has implemented a sequential function in where the select line of the multiplexer is chosen to be 1, and the previous macro cell has implemented a combinational function in which the select line of the multiplexer is 0. And definitely when we will have a flip-flop, so this flip-flop will have some reset mechanism, and that reset will go on to the, so there are in all of these SPLDs, there is also some reset mechanism. So there will be some signal that will be going to this. Okay. Now we have an example. We have an example of a 2-bit counter. So this is an example of a 2-bit counter. Can you see the 2-bit counter here? We have Q0 and then Q1. So the counter will go between 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, and 1, 1. So what are the outputs of the counter? Can you see the figure? Q0 and Q1. So now this is Q0 and this is Q1. Now Q1 and Q0. Q0 and Q0. And if you look at this counter, this Q0 is flipping its state on each next edge of the clock. And actually this is the function of a clock divider. Let's assume if this is the clock. Can you see the clock here? Now this is a clock. So now this is Q0. So now let's assume, okay, and this is feedback, and it is actually the invert of the logic. So in the next, what will be the value on the next clock? So now here it's 1 here at this edge, and the next edge the value will be 0, and on the next edge the value will be 1, and on the next edge the value will be 0. Why it is flipping? because this Q0 is being feedback to the D input with an inverter. So it will consider its previous value. So now this is Q0. What is the previous value? 1. And the previous value is being inverted. When it's inverted, the output will be 0. Now at this point, so now at this point, it's a new value. It means it will be 0 will be the previous value. And when 0 will be the previous value, it is being inverted. So if you look at the pattern, how we can implement Q0 efficiently? By feedbacking and using an inverter. Okay, when Q1 will flip? So if you look at the pattern, so the pattern will look like this: 0 0 0 1 1 0 and 1 1. Then the pattern will repeat 0 0. It will flip. When it will flip? So it actually, if it's, we have used an exclusive OR of Q0 and Q1. Exclusive OR of Q0 and Q1. So actually, if you have 0 0 0 1, the previous value is 0 1. When it's 0 1, so it will change. 0 0 is 0. 0 1 is 1. 1 0 is 1. 1 1 is 0. So it can be implemented within exclusive OR gate. So actually, now if you look at this, structure, how many macro cell we need if you want to implement this within SPLD? 2 macro cell. Okay, and for both of these macro cell, it will be configured in a combination mode or a sequential mode? Sequential mode. It will be in a sequential mode. It will be in a sequential mode. So if you look at here, in the macro cell, okay, now this Q0, we will also use the feedback term here, because Q0 will be feedback and Q1 will also be used feedback. So 2 macro cell will be used, and then now this is your homework, that how you can implement it with this macro cell. Okay, how many minterms will be used? Now, because it is just an inverter, and inverters are there above. Okay, so you can have a look at this. Okay. Now this is an organization. Can you see in this figure? This is an organization of a CFB. So there is one chip, that chip is very old chip. Now this is very old chip. This is called as XC95108. CFB, configurable functional block. So this is a configurable functional block. This is a configurable function block. Okay, if you look at this configurable functional block, how many macro cells are there? 18 macro cells. So now this is macro cell 1, then macro cell 2, then macro cell 3, 4, 5, 6 up to 18. These are dots. So this is macro cell 1, this is macro cell 2, and this is macro cell 18. Now if you look at here in the macro cell, so how many terms are there? 5 terms are there. 5 terms are there. It means that now each macro cell can implement a combinational or sequential function of maximum 5 min terms. Can implement a combination or sequential function of maximum 5 min terms. In the simple simple macro cell that we showed earlier, how many min terms were there? 2 min terms. But here, how many min terms will be there? 5 min terms. Okay, there how many inputs were there? If you look at, there are 3 inputs: A, B, and C. There were the inputs either were provided in a non-inverted fashion and in inverted fashion. If you look at here, simple. So now we have an A and then A bar, B and B bar, C and C bar. So if you look at this macro cell has three inputs. It has three inputs, and this one macro cell can implement a combinational or sequential function of maximum 2 minterms, but it can implement a combination and sequential function of three inputs only. It cannot implement a combination or sequential function of more than three inputs, because what are the inputs in this particular example? A, B and C. Now if you look at here down, look at the architecture of the CFB. If you look at the architecture of the CFB, so it has 36 inputs. How many inputs? 36 inputs. So 36 inputs, there is I1, I2, I3, I4 up to I36. So each CFB, if you look at here, each CFB has 36 inputs. And how many outputs? 18 outputs. Why 18 outputs? 18 because we have 18 macro cells. Okay, these 36 inputs are given to all of these macro cells. These 36 inputs are given to all of these macro cells. And if you look at the macro cell, if you look at the internal architecture of the macro cells, for each macro cell, it implements a wider function of 5 minterms, and there is also multiplexer is there. The multiplexer can either be used to implement a sequential or combination function. Now if you look at this XC95108 device, so if you look at here, now we have how many CFBs? 6 CFBs. CFB1, CFB2 and CF2, CFB6. जी क्या करें? 5 minterms, 5 inputs. I will explain this. Okay, I will explain this with the above figure. If you see this figure of the macro cell, forget about this complex CFB or macro cell. Just look at the simple macro cell. How many minterms? 2 minutes. How many inputs? 3. What are the inputs? A, B and C. The inputs here are I0, I1, I2, I3. Here it is I0, I1, I2 up to I36. अब समझ आई बात बेटा? Here in that macro cell, it will be I1. Instead of B, there will be I2, then I3, and up to I36. And how many AND gates will be there? 5 AND. अब समझ आई बेटा? Okay, good. So if you look at here, now this is a CFB with 36 inputs, but within the macro cell there are 5 AND gates. And all of these inputs here, they are programmable. All of them are programmable. Okay, so like there will be circle there, and when we tick it, so it is programmed, and when you don't tick it, it is unprogrammed. So it all depends on the switches. Either the switch will be connected or disconnected. Okay, so now if you look at here, now is this Xilinx XC95108? I think so. Yes, Xilinx XC95108. We have 6 CFBs. Each CFB has 18 macro cells. Each CFB has 18 macro cells, and each CFB can implement a combinational. Each macro cell can implement a combination or sequential function of maximum 5 minterms. Okay, if you want to implement a wider function, then we can use them in a feedback fashion. Use them in a feedback fashion. Now, if you look at from the high level perspective, now this is a chip. Definitely, each chip has some pins. So actually, you can connect these CFBs to the inputs and output of the chip pins through fast interconnect switch matrix. Through fast interconnect switch matrix. Now, how a switch matrix will look like? Now it's a question. How a switch matrix will look like? I will explain this with an example, with a simple illustrative example here. Now let's assume this is a switch matrix. This is a switch matrix, and we have 6 connections. The connections are named 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. For the sake of explanation, I have only shown 3 switches. How many switches are there? 3 switches are there. Switch S1, switch S2, and switch S3. Can you see these switches? It's S1, S2, and S3. Now this switch is actually a pass transistor that is controlled by the gate. It's a pass transistor that is controlled by a gate, and at the control of this gate, we can store either a logical 0 or a logical 1. Now let's assume if we store at the control of the gate a logical 0 at the control of this S1, what will happen? 1 and 4 will be disconnected. 1 and 4 will be disconnected. Now let's assume at the control of S2, we store a logical 1. 1 and 5 will be connected. Similarly, if we store 0 on the control of switch S3, 1 and 6 will be disconnected. So now let's assume if we want to connect 1 with all of them, so we will store 1 there. If we don't want to connect them, we store 0. Now, similarly, there will be some switches that will connect S2 with 4, 2 with 4, 2 with 5, 2 with 6, but these switches are not shown just like for 11, but maybe there are some switches. Now there is a trade-off. There is a trade-off. If we have more switches, what will be the disadvantage? More flexibility. But more switches implies more resources, more delay, more power consumption. So these are the trade-offs. These are the trade-offs that exist. And actually, this switch matrix is used. These switch matrix can be used to connect. To connect what? To connect the chip pins to the inputs of what? CFBs. And if you look at the internal architecture of the CFB, what are there? Macro cells. And if you look into macro cells, these are AND gates, OR gates, multiplexer, and flip-flops. Okay, so now this is the whole architecture from a high level view. This XC95104 is hierarchically decomposed into switch matrix and CFBs. This CFBs is further partitioned into macro cell. The macro cell is further partitioned into gates, AND gates, OR gates, flip-flop, and multiplexers. And there will also be some storage cell. Now, if you look from the high-level perspective of a switch matrix, so the switch matrix has some connections. It provides connection. So it may provide a connection between the chip pins and the inputs or CFB. It may also provide a connection between the output of the output pins. So there will be switch matrix that will exist in these kind of architectures. Yes.
Sir, at the same time, multiple connections.
Why not? Why not? Now, why not? Let's assume if you remember in your digital and logic design course, fan out. A fan out. Let's say if the output of one gate can be input to multiple gate inputs. Why not? So one output may go to multiple inputs. So now let's assume we have an AND gate. Let's assume we have an AND gate. So now let's assume how can I scroll down? So now let's assume we have an AND gate, and this AND gate output is going here to this OR gate or any OR gate, or it's also going to another OR gate, and this is also going to another OR gate. So actually, if you look at here, it can go to multiple places. How can I scroll down? Is there any way? अगर मैं नीचे जाना चाहता हूँ नहीं आ रहा ना अच्छा ठीक है हो गया ठीक है any question okay now we proceed further so now if you look at here the same question that you have asked it may also be possible that this is let's assume this is the output of CFB1. This is the output of CFB1 and it is going to the input of CFB2 and CFB3 and CFB4. Okay, so actually, and if you remember the example of the counter that we studied in previously, so actually it was a 2-bit counter. What was Q0? Q0 was feedback actually. Q0 was feedback and Q0 was also feedback to the second macro cell. If you remember it. Q0 also feedback to the second macro cell, and there we use an exclusive OR gate. So actually, in that case, the output one output of a macro cell may go to the inputs of multiple macro cells. So definitely, the switching circuit will be used. So the switching circuit can be used, and we will also study this with an example. We will also study this with an example. So now. Can we see the slide 1? Can you see on the slide 1? So actually, if we can you see slide 1 is not here, but I will show here.
गेट्स है सर तो एक इनपुट के लिए 3 गेट्स जैसा आपने बताया तो वो अगर सेवरल इनपुट्स होंगी तो उनके लिए 3 से मल्टीप्लाइड गेट्स होंगे वो सेलेक्ट लाइन तो 3 है
क्या कह रहे हैं
सर जैसे गेट्स है ना वो कहते हैं पास ट्रांजिस्टर्स को तो अगर एक इनपुट के लिए 3 गेट्स है और 3 आउटपुट्स कनेक्ट कर सकते हैं तो इसी तरह जितनी मल्टीपल इनपुट्स होंगे उनके लिए 3 गेट्स होंगे तो इसी तरह ये सेलेक्ट लाइंस होती है या
नहीं there will be some storage cells. There will be some storage cell, and actually these storage cells can be used. There are some storage cells there. Okay, and in these storage cells you have select lines, and on these select lines you can do all of these things. 1 minute, I have to see one slide. It's 2 maybe. Can you see this slide? 1 minute. So actually, if you want to go into detail, so actually you can see this handout 1, programmable logic design techniques, and you should go through them. You must go through them to how you want to implement different functions. Okay. Okay. Now these are actually if you see here, all details are here. How you want to implement different functions. So you should go through them. Okay, now these are different slides. I want to show you this slide. This one. Okay, so if you look at this max architecture, if you look at this max architecture, so what is this whole structure? This one. So if you look at this is actually a CFB, and CFB has how many inputs? 36 inputs. How many minterms? 5 minterms. And actually, if you look at here, there is an OR gate, and this is in exclusive OR gate. These are some inverters. We will study all these details in our next lecture.